$48,000. I turned the phone toward him. Derek's face drained. You, 8,000 wired every 8th of the month. My voice stayed flat. 5 years. 60 transfers. I counted. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. The payee's name is Naomi. I kept my eyes on him. Who is she? Silence. Talk. She's on her own. Nobody takes care of her. He looked away. If I don't help, who will? I laughed. 480 grand keeps her for 5 years. I rose. Then what are my 7 years worth? He lifted his gaze. Lips twitching. I have every bank statement. I lifted the phone. Derek, you'd better decide how you're going to explain this to me. Before we continue, subscribe to this channel and comment where you're listening from. The living room felt like a morgue. Derek sat on the couch, arms folded, not meeting my eyes. Talk, Lena. Just hear me out. I don't want excuses. I cut him off. I want the truth. He glanced up, then down again. Who is she? A friend. Friend? I sneered. 8 grand a month to a friend? Her family's broke. So helping? I tossed the phone onto his lap. Read the memo line. He looked. His face went whiter. Memo, monthly allowance. Monthly allowance. I chewed each word. You sent her an allowance. What do you give me? No answer. 2,000. I said. You hand me 2 grand for the house and still whine it's too much. Her. 8. It's different. How? She's renting alone in downtown LA. Her expenses, and me? I jabbed my chest. I raise Ethan. Cook for your parents. Wash your clothes. My expenses don't count? He opened his mouth. No sound. Last month Ethan needed ESL tutoring. $300. I stared. Remember what you said. Silence. You said it's too pricey. Let's wait. I smiled. 300 for Ethan is too much. 8,000 for her is nothing. That's not the same, right? Not the same. I nodded. One is your wife and Ethan. The other is your kept woman. Of course they're different. Don't put it like that. Then tell me, how should I put it? I pinned him with my gaze. He hung his head. Derek, one question. I drew a slow breath. Did you ever love me? He raised his eyes. I did. And now? 10 seconds. No reply. Got it. I stood. Tonight you sleep in the study, Lena. And I turned back. Tomorrow I see every account ledger. Refuse and I'll print them myself at the bank. What are you going to do? Find out how much you blew on her in 5 years. I walked into the bedroom and shut the door. His voice followed. Lena, don't be like this. Let's talk. I ignored him. Lying on the bed, I stared at the ceiling. 7 years. I've been married 7 years. Back then he owned nothing. We shared a studio apartment in Culver City. Lived on instant noodles. Helped pay the mortgage on our Los Angeles condo. When Ethan arrived I couldn't even rest the full postpartum month. No money for a night nurse. All these years I scrimped. Never bought a garment over $30. Him, 8 grand wired to another woman every month. Monthly allowance. I closed my eyes and pulled a bitter smile. Nice little allowance. My phone chimed. Best friend Zoe on WhatsApp. What's wrong? What did your Instagram post mean? I checked. This afternoon I'd uploaded. Some things aren't unknown, just unspoken. I didn't text back. Tonight I need silence. Tomorrow I'll read his ledgers. I need every last truth. Then I'll decide my next move. Next morning I didn't go to work. I took the day off and waited in the living room. Derek stepped out, startled. You didn't go in? Ledgers? He stood frozen. I told you, deny me and I'll pull them myself. Lena, let's eat first. Talk, ledgers. He sighed, fished out his phone. See for yourself. I opened the banking app. Transfers packed the screen. I scrolled. March 8th, 2019. Transfer $8,000. Pay Naomi. Memo, monthly allowance. April 8th, 2019. Transfer $8,000. Pay Naomi. Memo, monthly allowance. May 8th, 2019. Transfer $8,000. Pay Naomi. Memo, monthly allowance. All the way to February 2024. 5 solid years. 60 transfers. $480,000. My hand trembled. Anything else? What? Besides wires? More? No reply. I tapped spending history. May 2023. Auto dealership in Beverly Hills. $152,000. What's this? A car. For whom? Silence. Derek. Again. Who? Her. 150 grand. He bought her a car worth 150. I kept scrolling. Valentine's 2022. Luxury boutique on Rodeo Drive. $28,000. Valentine's 2023. Luxury boutique on Rodeo Drive. $35,000. Valentine's 2024. Luxury boutique on Rodeo Drive. $42,000. These designer handbags. I set the phone down and looked at him. $150K car. Roughly $100,000 in bags. Plus $480 in transfers. My voice stayed level. Derek, what's the grand total? He stared at the floor. I did the math. Minimum $730,000. I said, know how much we've paid off on our mortgage balance? Silence. $700,000. I said, you spent more on her than on our house. Lena, last month I wanted a $30 bag. I studied him. Remember your reaction? His face went chalky. You said another bag. How many do you need? I laughed. $30 is too many. 35,000 you don't blink. It's not the same. True. I nodded. She's your kept woman. I'm only your wife. The door swung open. Evelyn walked in. What's all the yelling about this early? She glanced from me to Derek. Mom, it's nothing. Nothing? Evelyn frowned. Lena, why the long face? I handed her the phone. Mom, look for yourself. Evelyn took it, scanned, looked again. What is this? Your son's bank statements. I said, $8,000 every month to a woman named Naomi. 5 years. Evelyn's expression soured. She turned to Derek. Derek, what's going on? Derek kept his head down. Mom, your son cheated. I said, for 5 years. The room went still. Then Evelyn spoke. Daughter-in-law. She set the phone down. We're family. Let's not wash dirty linen in public. I blinked. Derek's always been soft-hearted. Evelyn sighed. That woman must have latched onto him. Mom, listen. Evelyn cut in. Men will be men. A little socializing is normal, but his heart's still here. I stared, stunned. Mom, do you know how much he blew on her? Amounts don't matter. Evelyn waved it off. What matters is he comes home. $730,000. I said, that doesn't matter. Money can be earned back. Evelyn looked at me. If you divorce over this, Ethan suffers. This little thing? I know you're hurt. Evelyn patted my hand. But life goes on. Have it out. Turn the page. Keep the family together. I pulled my hand free and stood. So your idea is, he cheats 5 years, burns $730,000 on a mistress, and I pretend it never happened? That's not what then what do you mean? Evelyn sighed. Lena, Derek is my son. He messed up. I'll scold him. But you're his wife. You should support him, not fight him. I laughed. Support him? I stared. He has an affair and I cheer him on? Why must you be so stubborn? Mom, I inhaled. Do you know what these 5 years have been like for me? Evelyn stayed quiet. $2,000 monthly allowance. Yet I still scraped cash together to buy him cigarettes and liquor. I said, Ethan wants ESL tutoring. Too expensive. I buy a shirt. Wasteful. Times are tight. Tight? I scoffed. He's got cash for a $150K car for his mistress, but not $300 for Ethan's class. Call that tight? Evelyn opened her mouth. Nothing came. If you think that's trivial, fine. I lifted the phone, but I have my limits. What are you planning? I'm getting every last truth. I looked at her. Then I'll decide whether this marriage is worth saving. Evelyn's face turned ashen. Lena, calm down. I am calm. I spun around and walked into the bedroom. Before the door clicked shut, I heard Evelyn hiss outside. Derek, look at the mess you've made. Derek said nothing. I locked the door and sagged against it. My hands were still trembling. 70,000. 5 years. Every time I'd thought he was working late, he'd been with her. Every time I'd thought he was being thrifty, he'd been funneling our money to her. I'd scrimped and saved for 7 years. He'd kept another woman for 5. Tears welled up so fast I couldn't stop them. I bit my lip hard, refusing to let a sound escape. No crying. Crying fixes nothing. I need proof. I need every last scrap of truth. And then I'll make him pay. For the next 3 days, I didn't speak a single word to Derek. He tried to explain. I ignored him. Evelyn came to mediate twice. I ignored her too. I had one thing on my mind. Gathering evidence. When we'd bought our phones years ago, we'd used the same Apple ID for convenience, which meant his iCloud synced to my devices as well, including the messages he thought he'd deleted. On the 3rd night, while he was in the shower, I opened my laptop, logged into iCloud, opened messages, a solid wall of conversations. I clicked on the thread with Naomi. Honey, I miss you so much today. Baby, behave. I'll see you this weekend at the Santa Monica condo. And don't forget that bag I've been eyeing at Saks. Okay? Sure. It's yours. You're the best. Mwah. I kept scrolling. Honey, I want a different car. What kind? The white Tesla I showed you forever ago. How much? $15,000. Deal. I'll get it for you. Love you. I set the phone down. $15,000 for a car? Just like that. Last month I'd wanted a $300 purse and he'd groaned. Another bag? I scrolled on. One snippet froze my thumb. Honey, I think my husband's getting suspicious. Relax. Just be careful. So, can you come this weekend? Yep, I'll tell my wife I'm working overtime in San Francisco. My hand stopped mid-swipe. Her husband. Naomi had a husband. I inhaled slowly and kept going. Honey, my husband's away on business. Can you come tonight? Sure. I'll knock off early. She's married. Derek wasn't keeping a mistress. He was sleeping with another man's wife. For 5 years. 2 families betrayed. 5 years running. I closed the laptop and leaned back. Outside, the Los Angeles lights glared white. I stared at the ceiling, mind blank. After a long while I picked up my phone, opened WhatsApp, searched a Naomi. Nothing. I opened Derek's contacts instead. Found Naomi's number. Copied it. Opened a search app. Typed it in. Name, Naomi Carter. 28 marital status. Married. I stared at the screen. Married. I tried a new search. Naomi Carter husband. Results popped up. Spouse. Grant Bennett. 36 occupation, sales manager, tech venture technologies. I screenshot everything. Then I started digging for Grant. Half an hour later I had his company address in Los Angeles. 15 minutes after that, I found his work WhatsApp. I didn't add him yet. I needed a plan. But one thing was crystal clear. Derek, you thought your secret was airtight. Too bad. Naomi has a husband. And that husband is about to know everything. I turned the phone off and looked out the window. Night had swallowed the neighborhood. Tomorrow, I'm going to meet someone. Are you absolutely sure? Zoe watched me, worry lining her face. Absolutely. But doesn't this feel a little what? She hesitated. Ruthless? I sipped my coffee at a cafe in downtown LA and said nothing. I mean, you're about to dump all the proof on the other woman's husband. She lowered her voice. What if he snaps and hits her or something? That's on her. I set the cup down. Did she worry about what would happen to me while she was in bed with my husband for 5 years? Zoe fell silent. Her husband deserves the truth, I said. Just like I did. She exhaled. You've made up your mind? Made up and locked. Then, I've got your back. I smiled and picked up my phone. I already have his work WhatsApp, I said. This afternoon I'm going to see him. In person? Yes. I nodded. Some conversations need to happen face to face. At 2 o'clock I stood outside the Los Angeles corporate plaza. Grant Bennett, sales manager. I signed in at reception, claiming a client meeting. 5 minutes later a suit appeared, mid-30s, thinning hair, sharp eyes. Hi, you asked for me? Bennett, I answered. My name's Lena Morrison. We need to talk about your wife. His smile vanished. My wife? Yes. I lifted my phone. Somewhere private? He studied me for several beats. All right. We took the elevator to the lobby cafe. Once seated, I slid my phone across. Start with these. He glanced down. Bank statements. What am I looking at? My husband's account ledger, I said. The recipient is your wife. His complexion paled. 8,000 every month. For 5 years, I continued. 480 grand total. He stared, speechless. And this. I swiped to the chat screenshots. Honey, I miss you. Baby, I'll tell my wife I'm working late. His fingers began to shake. Your wife and my husband have been cheating for 5 years, I said evenly. I found out last week. He set the phone down very carefully. Who are you? I'm Lena, Derek Morrison's wife. His eyes reddened. 5 years, he whispered. I know it's a bomb, I said, but you had the right to know. Silence stretched. What do you want from me? He asked at last. Nothing, I said. We're both victims. He gave a ragged laugh. Victims? Grant, I'm not here to recruit you, I told him. I just wanted you to have the facts. What you do next is your choice. He bowed his head. Eventually he spoke. That 480, she spent it? My husband sent it to her, I said. Plus a 15 grand Tesla, plus designer handbags, 70 plus in all. His knuckles whitened. I earn 12 a month, he muttered. She said it wasn't enough. Thought I was a lousy provider. I stayed quiet. Turns out she had supplemental income. His laugh cracked. What the hell am I? Grant, 70 grand. He looked up. I've saved 30 in 8 years. Sunlight poured through the windows, but neither of us felt its warmth. Thank you, he said finally, for telling me. No thanks needed. I'll handle it, he said, rising. They'll pay. I nodded. One thing, I added. If I need testimony or more documents later, will you help? He met my eyes, then gave a short nod. I will. Thank you. He walked out. I stayed in the cafe, watching pedestrians hurry past. Step 1, done. Now I wait. Wait for Derek to unravel. Wait for Naomi's world to collapse. Wait for them to taste what they planted. I'm in no rush. I've already waited 7 years. A few more days mean nothing. Sweetheart, I think my husband's onto us. He asked about those transfers today. Did that Lena show him the proof? I finished reading and set the phone down. The corners of my mouth lifted. Grant had made his move. The next evening I had it out with Derek. Derek.
Yeah,
Did Naomi's husband come looking for you? His face drained of color. How do you know? I lifted my phone. Want to hear her husband's call? He froze. What? Grant Bennett, I said. 36. Sales manager at a tech firm. Naomi's husband. Right? He stared. Lips bloodless. You went to him? Not only that, I placed the phone in front of him. I showed him every transfer from the last 5 years. He looked like lightning had struck him square in the chest. Are you insane? He shot up. Do you realize what you've done? I do. I kept my eyes on his. I let another victim know the truth. This could blow up. Blow up how? I asked. Grant slaps Naomi. She deserves it. Or are you scared he'll come after you? His mouth opened, but no words came. Derek. Why so rattled? I stood. Wasn't it you who said she needs you? Well, she needs you now. Go protect her. Lena. Listen, I'm done listening. I cut him off. Answer me. Will you agree to a divorce? He stared. What? Divorce. I enunciated every syllable. You can live with Naomi or stay with me. Pick. His lips moved soundlessly. Lena, let's both cool down. I'm ice cold, I said, clearer-headed than ever. I turned and walked into the bedroom. Think it over, I called back. But hurry. Grant's temper isn't as patient as mine. The door shut. Behind it he shouted. Lena, come back. Let's talk. I ignored him. Lying on the bed, I gazed at the ceiling. My heart pounded, but I knew I'd done the right thing. Derek, you thought you could cover the sky with one hand. Too bad the sky refuses to obey. You bankrolled her for 5 years. Now her husband is coming to collect from you. The next day Derek was a different man. No more humble pleading. Before leaving for work he paused at the door and looked at me. Lena, I already heard you handed the evidence to Grant. I lifted my head. Then I won't sugarcoat it. His voice chilled. You want a divorce? Fine, but forget taking the kid. My heart lurched. What did you say? The boy carries my name, he said, eyes locked on mine. If you fight, you lose him. I answered, each word sharp. I carried him 9 months. You think you can just claim him? I'm his father. Father? I gave a cold laugh. How many bedtimes have you made in 5 years? What grade is he in at Maplewood Elementary? Who's his best friend? He blinked. None of that matters, he muttered. He bears my name, so he stays with me. Derek. Threatening me with our son won't make me cave. It's not a threat. He smirked. Just the outcome. He jerked the door open and left. It slammed shut. I stood there, hands trembling, not from fear, from rage. 5 years of cheating, 70 grand blown on his mistress. And now he dangles my child. I inhaled sharply and picked up my phone. Called Zoe. Hey, get me an appointment with that lawyer you mentioned in Beverly Hills. Huh, what happened? He used Ethan against me. I said, I need to know how custody works in California. I'll set it up right away. I hung up and stared out the window. Derek, you want to chain me with our child. Keep dreaming. House, savings. Ethan, you're losing them all. That afternoon I sat across from the attorney. Morrison, I've reviewed your outline, he said. Legally, custody hinges on several factors, such as, first, age. At 5, California courts usually favor the mother. Good. Second, primary caregiver status. You've been that. Points in your favor. More. Third, finances and moral conduct. He met my eyes. Documented adultery severely hurts the cheater's claim. I have proof. Transfers. Chat logs. Anything concrete helps, he said. Fault matters. Judges protect the innocent party. And assets? Marital property splits equally in principle, he explained. But dissipation, wasting joint funds, can tilt the division. We can demand reimbursement for the money spent on the affair. My eyes sparked. So the 70 he lavished on her becomes evidence of dissipation, he nodded. You can ask the court to award you that share. Thank you, I said, standing. I know my next steps. He walked me out. One caution. Ms. Morrison. Yes? In divorce suits, evidence is everything, he stressed. Keep gathering. Texts, recordings, witnesses. The thicker your file, the safer you are. I understand. Outside, I texted Grant Bennett. Can we meet again? Something to discuss. 5 minutes later, he replied, sure. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Same cafe in downtown LA. I pocketed the phone and looked at the sky. Derek, you tried to hold Ethan over me. I'm about to take everything instead. Saturday afternoon Evelyn arrived. The moment she stepped in she seized my hand and pressed me onto the couch. Lena, let's talk this through. I regarded her in silence. I know Derek acted terribly, she sighed. I've scolded him all week. Scolding fixes nothing. True. She patted my hand. That's why I'm here. To cool your anger. I'm not angry. I pulled my hand free. I'm filing for divorce. Evelyn's face stiffened. Lena, don't be rash. I'm not. I've thought it through. What about the child? He stays with me. Impossible. Her tone hardened. He carries the Morrison name. He can't leave. I laughed. Mom, you used to say one family, one voice. Now you chant the surname line? Whose side are you on? It's different. How? She flushed crimson. I want what's best for this family. Best? I sneered. Where was your best when your son blew 70,000 on his mistress? She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Let me be clear. I rose. The marriage ends. Ethan leaves with me. Fight me and we meet in Los Angeles Superior Court. You're threatening me? Stating facts. I said. Your move. I turned to go. Evelyn blurted, Lena, there's something else. I stopped. What? She hesitated. That Naomi is pregnant. I froze. Excuse me? 3 months along, she said. Watching me. Derek told me. My head rang like a gong. Naomi, pregnant. 3 months. Which meant when I uncovered them, she already was. Lena, I know this hits hard. Evelyn stepped closer, but the baby is still Morrison blood. I couldn't speak. My point. Her voice dropped. Can't you be bigger about this? Bigger? She's carrying it. Abortion's out of the question. Evelyn murmured. Perhaps. Let her move in. Give the family another Ethan? I stared, wondering if I was dreaming. Mom, what did you just say? I know it's a shock. Let the mistress walk through my door. I cut in. Bear your grandchild under my roof? I mean, we could all discuss terms. Discuss? I laughed until tears stung my eyes. You want me to step aside for her? That's not what. Then what? I glared. Your son cheats 5 years. Blows our savings. Knocks her up. And you ask me to play nice? Lena, calm down. I'm perfectly calm. I drew a steady breath. Mom, do you know how I've lived? Evelyn stayed quiet. $2,000 a month household money. Every cent stretched. I said. Ethan feverish at midnight. I carried him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center while your son worked late. Holidays I cooked and served you and Dad while he celebrated with his pretty tramp. I already know all that. What exactly do you know? My voice shot up. Do you know that for 7 years I haven't bought a single piece of clothing that cost more than $30? Do you know I can't even bring myself to buy a $40 purse? Lena, what about Ethan? I stared at her. He bought his mistress a $20,000 car. Purses worth thousands. And what about me? What am I? Evelyn lowered her head. Now you want me to be magnanimous. Welcome the mistress into the family? I gave a cold laugh. Mom, what do you take me for? Evelyn said nothing. Let me tell you. I walked to the door. This marriage, I am divorcing him. The child, I am keeping. As for that mistress, I turned back. Whose baby she's carrying is her business. Want me to step aside? In your dreams. The door slammed shut. I walked out of the apartment complex and stood in the night air. The wind was cold. I took a deep breath. Pulled out my phone, and sent Grant a message. Naomi's pregnant. Did you know? He answered almost instantly. I know. 3 months. Is it Derek's? No idea, he said. She claims it's mine, but I don't buy it. What are you going to do? I've already told her to get a paternity test, he said. If it's his, I'll make him pay. Need my help? No. Just look after yourself. When the time comes, we'll settle the score together. All right. I pocketed the phone and stared at the night sky. Derek. Evelyn. Naomi. You think I'm easy prey. Just wait. The real show is still to come. The next week, the house felt like the dead of winter. Derek hadn't mentioned the child stays with me again. Evelyn hadn't come by either, but I knew the storm had only paused. They were waiting. I was waiting too. Friday night Derek suddenly asked to talk. Lena, I need to say something. What? He sat across from me, face grave. I've cut things off with Naomi. I watched him and said nothing. I know I was wrong. These 5 years, I betrayed you. And then, I want to give us another chance. He looked at me. A fresh start, okay? I laughed. A fresh start. Yes. He grew eager. I swear I'll never cheat again. I'll treat you and Ethan well. You expect me to believe it's over just because you say so? It really is over, he said. I made it clear to her. So what about the baby she's carrying? His expression faltered. That baby. It might not be mine. Might? I kept my eyes on him. Are you sure? She has a husband, and her husband has already ordered a paternity test. I cut in. Before the results are out, don't be so quick to deny it. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. Derek, do you honestly think I'm stupid? I stood. You say it's over and I'm supposed to forget. You say restart and we restart? Lena, you spent $70,000 on her. That was our joint money. And you think a sentence ends it? I'll pay it back. Eventually. With what? I sneered. Your 12 grand salary. More of my sweat and tears? He hung his head. Also, I stepped closer. You want to give us a chance. Tell me, if the test says the baby is yours, what then? Silence. You'll let her give birth? Still silence. You'll welcome Naomi into this house? His silence was the answer. You're in no position to talk about fresh starts. I turned away. You're just out of moves. Lena, listen, I've listened enough. I walked to the bedroom. Think it over. When you're ready, come talk divorce. The door shut. No sound behind me. I leaned against it and closed my eyes. He says it's over. I don't believe it. He says let's start fresh. I believe it even less. face. He's panicking and trying to pacify me. What he doesn't know is I stopped being the naive girl of 7 years ago. Now I believe only evidence, never his mouth. My phone buzzed. Grant on WhatsApp, the paternity results are in. My pulse quickened. And, it's Derek's. I stared at the screen a long time, then replied, what's your next move? Monday I confront him, Grant said, face to face. Need me there? No, just wait. I'll get that 480,000 back. Deal. I set the phone down and looked out the window. Derek, you think a few soft apologies by forgiveness. Wrong. What you owe me, you will repay to the last cent. What you owe Grant, you'll repay to the last cent. Monday will be your reckoning. Monday afternoon Derek rang me. Frantic. Lena, where are you? Come home, now. Alarm quivered in his voice. What happened? Someone's barged in and is making a scene at our condo. I hung up and walked home slowly. At the apartment complex entrance a crowd had gathered. I slipped through. In the living room Derek sat collapsed on the sofa, white as paper. Grant stood over him, a sheaf of papers in hand. Derek Morrison, right? Grant's voice stayed calm. Time to settle the bill. Who are you? Derek's voice shook. Naomi's husband, Grant said with a thin smile. The man you cuckolded for 5 years. Neighbors gasped. Don't spout nonsense. Nonsense? Grant flung the papers in his face. See for yourself. Derek looked down. Bank statements. 8 grand every month. 5 years straight. Grant said. Comes to 480,000. True or false? Derek's lips trembled. And this. Grant tossed another sheet. Paternity test. My wife's baby, yours. The crowd buzzed louder. Pretty impressive. Derek. Grant stepped closer. Slept with my wife 5 years. Knocked her up. What the hell did you take me for? Huh, Mr. Bennett. Listen my ass. Grant grabbed his collar. I'm here for one thing. 480 grand. Pay up. I don't have that kind of money. No money? Grant snorted. Had plenty to wine and dine your mistress. Buy her cars and purses. But none to pay me back? She tricked me. Tricked you? Grant released him. A grown man. Tricked for 5 years. You think I'm a fool? Derek slumped. Speechless. You bankrolled her for 5 years, Grant said. Now it's payback time. I stood in the doorway, watching. When Derek spotted me he looked like a drowning man spotting a raft. Lena, make him leave. I didn't move. Lena, he's extorting me. Extortion? I walked in and stood beside Grant. Derek, you moved 480 grand from our joint account. Now he wants it back. Problem? He stared as if I were a stranger. You're in this together? Not together, I said. But we share a goal, make you pay. Grant looked at Derek. Your wife's sharper than you, he said. Here's the deal, 480 grand. 1 month. Miss the deadline and we meet in court. I really don't have it. That's your headache. Grant turned. 1 month. He left. The living room fell silent. Neighbors drifted away, whispering. Derek sat like a rag doll. Lena. He lifted his head. Why are you doing this to me? I gazed at him. Wrong question. What? The question? I leaned down. Eyes locked on his. Is why did you do this to me? At last remorse flickered in his eyes. I know I was wrong. Wrong? I straightened. Too late. I walked toward the bedroom. From tonight you sleep on the couch, I said. Within a month sign the divorce settlement. Lena. And, I glanced back. Figure out the 480 grand yourself. Don't even think about touching the house or our savings. The door closed. His voice cracked behind me. Lena, can't you give me one more chance? I didn't answer. Give him a chance. Did he ever give me one? 5 years I scrimped while he splurged. I raised our child. He kept a mistress. His work overtime was a lie. His I love you was a joke. 7 years. I traded 7 years of my youth for a husband who cheated for 5. Now he wants another chance. On what grounds? The days that followed Derek was a changed man. Out early, back late. Nobody knew what he was doing. When he was home he sighed and moped. I ignored him. I was getting the divorce file ready. Bank statements, chat logs, expense lists, paternity report, every item photocopied in triplicate. 1 set for the lawyer, 1 for the court, 1 for me. A week later Derek finally cracked. That night, he suddenly dropped to his knees in front of me. Lena, please. I sat on the sofa, looking down at him. Please what? That 480,000. I really can't come up with it. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Grant says he's going to sue me, and my job. I might lose it. I said nothing. I know I was wrong. I really do. He clutched my hand. Help me. Okay, I'll treat you right from now on. I swear. Derek. I pulled my hand back. Do you have any idea how I've lived these past 7 years? He lifted his head. I get up at 5 every morning to make your breakfast, and I wait every night for you to come home to dinner. I said. Every dollar I saved went straight into our family. Nothing, absolutely nothing, was ever spent on myself. He lowered his his head. I told myself you were working late, so I never complained. I went on. I told myself you loved me, so I could endure anything. Lena. And what happened? I stood up. You were bankrolling another woman. He cried harder. My monthly allowance is $2,000, and I stretch every cent 4 ways. I stared at him. You handed $8,000 to your mistress without batting an eye. I was wrong. You bought her a $150,000 car, while I wouldn't even let myself buy a $300 purse. My voice turned icy. Derek, tell me, what do I owe you? He stayed on his knees, speechless. I owe you nothing. I said, that $480,000 is a debt you ran up yourself. Ask anyone you like, just don't ask me. Lena, I'm out of options. That's your problem. I picked up the folder from the coffee table and held it out. Divorce settlement. Sign. He froze. What? Divorce settlement. I said, house's mine. Savings mine. Child's mine. The $480,000 debt, yours alone. That's not fair. Not fair? I laughed coldly. You kept a mistress for 5 years and burned through more than $700,000 of our money. Was that fair? His mouth opened, then closed. Derek, you don't have a choice. I offered him the pen. Sign it and we part on decent terms. Refuse. And we meet in court. Court. Yes, court. I looked straight at him. I have every scrap of proof of your affair, chat logs, bank statements, credit card bills, even the paternity test. His face went whiter. Care to guess how the judge will rule? Silence. A long, long silence. Then he reached out and took the pen. Lena. He looked at me. Is there really no way back? None. I said. The moment you sent her that first transfer, the door shut for good. He closed his eyes, opened them, and signed his name on the divorce settlement. I took the papers and checked them. Signature. Date. Everything was there. Thanks for your cooperation. I stood. Tomorrow we go to Los Angeles City Hall. He stayed on the floor, unmoving. I walked into the bedroom and shut the door, leaning against it. I exhaled, long and slow. It was over. 7 years of marriage. Finished at last. Moonlight streamed in, bright and cold. I stared at the ceiling, and suddenly tears fell. Not from grief, from relief. These 7 years had worn me to the bone. From now on, I would live for myself alone. The next morning we went to Los Angeles City Hall. The procedure was simple. 2 people, 2 IDs, 1 marriage certificate. Half an hour later I held the divorce decree in my hand. A small red booklet that read, divorce. I looked at it and felt calm. No stab of pain. No burst of freedom. Just done. Lena. I looked up. Derek stood in front of me. Eyes red. Take care. From now on. I nodded. You too. He opened his mouth, closed it, then turned and walked away. I watched his silhouette disappear into the crowd. 7 years. We'd known each other 10. Been married 7. Now we were strangers who happened to share a past. My phone buzzed. A WhatsApp from Zoe. All done. I replied, all done. She sent a giant hug sticker. Congrats, finally free. I smiled. Free, maybe. That afternoon I picked Ethan up from Maplewood Elementary School. Mom. He hurled himself into my arms. Cheeks flushed. The teacher praised me today. Said my drawing was awesome. Really? I crouched to straighten his backpack. Ice cream at Baskin-Robbins to celebrate? Yeah. Hand in hand we walked home. Sunshine. Gentle breeze. Ethan chattered non-stop about school. I listened, my heart settling. No Derek. Fine. I still had Ethan. A job. A future. From here on, I would live well. For myself and for Ethan. A month later the court ruling arrived. Because Derek was the party at fault. The property split favored me. House's mine. Savings mine. Child's mine. The $480,000 debt, his alone. Meanwhile, Grant had filed suit against both Derek and Naomi. He wanted Derek to repay the loan of $480,000. He wanted Naomi to pay $100,000 in emotional damage compensation. The case dragged 3 months. In the end Derek was ordered to repay, Naomi to compensate. One saddled with debt, the other disgraced. And I, at last, could start over. 3 months later I was promoted. Associate Marketing Director. $12,000 a month. With my first new paycheck I bought myself a cashmere coat. $2,000. Previously, I'd have balked. Now, it felt right. Because I'm worth it. 1 year later, I stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of my new office in downtown LA, gazing out at the city. Marketing Manager. $15,000 a month. 2 promotions. 2 raises in 12 months. 8 to 12. Then 12 to 15. Life kept getting better. Ms. Morrison. 3 o'clock meeting. I turned. Got it. When my assistant left I checked my phone. A WhatsApp from Zoe. Lena. Guess who I ran into? Who? Derek. I hesitated. How's he doing? Pretty miserable. Zoe said. Fired from his job. Delivering food for Uber Eats now. Grant's hounding him for money. He sold his car to pay part of the debt. I stared at the screen. Silent. Did he say anything? Nope. Took one look at me and bolted. probably too ashamed. I pocketed the phone. Derek. A year ago he'd been a white-collar manager pulling 12 grand. With a house, a car, a wife. Now he's hustling takeout orders. One wrong turn, and the sky crashed down on him. But I don't pity him. He reaped what he sowed. After work I picked Ethan up from Maplewood Elementary. Mom. He launched into my arms, an entire head taller than last year. Mom. I got first place on today's English test. Seriously? I ruffled his hair. Dinner at the Cheesecake Factory to celebrate? Yes. Hand in hand we headed home. The setting sun stretched our shadows long. Ethan bounced along, rattling off school gossip. I listened, smiling wider with every step. This year has been good. Career solid. Ethan thriving. My own confidence soaring. Without Derek, life is fuller. Mom. Where's Dad? My stride hitched. Dad moved to another state for work. I said, it's just us now. Ethan pondered that. Will you be lonely, Mom? I knelt to meet his eyes. Not at all. I smiled. Because I have you keeping me company. He beamed. Then I'll stay with you every single day. Deal. I tousled his hair. Let's go home. We kept walking. The sunset painted everything gold behind us. My phone rang. Unknown number. I glanced, then tucked it away. Mom, who was that? No idea. I slipped the phone into my pocket. Doesn't matter. Oh, we entered the apartment complex. The last slanted rays of sun wrapped us in warmth. Inside, I cooked while Ethan did homework. After dinner, I checked his work. He watched cartoons. Ordinary, peaceful, and I knew exactly how precious that ordinariness was. Dishes done. I stood at the window, watching night settle. I thought of the woman I'd been a year ago. Back then I'd thought the sky had fallen. Now I understood. It wasn't collapse. It was a new beginning. Derek had taught me an expensive lesson. 7 years of marriage summed up in one truth. No one is indispensable. Only you can steer your own life. That $480,000. Call it tuition for the past. That $480,000. Call it payment for my wasted youth. I gazed at the glowing windows across Los Angeles and smiled. A new life, just getting started. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more great tales. See you next time.